Jesus, we appreciate you being here. Thank you so much for the contribution, too. This is the time for the Miami administration to show up if they want to be relevant in football and be a powerhouse again. I hope the search for athletic director is being done properly.
Thank you. That's my whole thing, Mark. I went off on a rant on YouTube about that. We're on YouTube now. I went on my channel last night about that. It's like everybody and their mom is angry because Miami isn't making changes right now because everyone else is. Those programs have their stuff in order. The University of Florida, they have a whole athletic department ready to win. Louisiana State University, they have a whole athletic department ready to win. That's why they swung for the fences with some of those coaches. USC swung for the fences because they had everything else in order. We don't have none of that stuff in order. Our recruiting department has 3 people in it. 3. That's nothing compared to these big time programs. They got a dude that all he does is just scour highlight tapes. Then you got another person who evaluates them. You got another person who gets in contact and tries to figure out who's their high school coach. Gets in conversation with that. They have, and then that's before you even read a recruiting coordinator, an area recruiter, a position coach, a coordinator. Before any of those people get involved, they got a whole army of people whose job it is to go find that 3-star in class of 2024 that they believe is going to be a 4-star coming based on size and strength and all that kind of stuff that he brings to the table moving up. Miami doesn't have that stuff. We just got nutrition a couple years ago. We just built an indoor practice facility. So we are in a true infancy stage of this. So we have to be very careful who the person we pick to help lead this. And I'm happy that they're taking their time. Mark, we hired a search firm to help us get that. They told them there's a couple people we don't want you to interview. So Miami told them to kick rocks. We don't want you a part of this anymore. Before, Miami would have said, okay, you guys are the professionals. We'll listen to you. Who are some of the people you want us to interview? Instead, Mark, they were like, why can't we interview Jurchich from Louisville? All because he has a scandal. We don't want anything, that scandal stuff. We want to, if you interview, the firm told Miami, you interview him, we don't want to be a part of it anymore. Miami interviewed him, so they're not a part of it anymore. So what does that say to me, Mark? They are wanting to get better. And they're going to take their time and do this the right way instead of just speed it up and get it done. No, let's make sure we're getting this thing done right so that they are in line with the Highsmith. They are in line with the alum. They are in line with where we want to go. Then after that is done, then you go find a head coach that's in line with that too. It's that simple.
So in the live chat, we obviously encourage everyone to bring your comments and your questions and spew your opinion all over the place. We have no issue with that as long as it's respectful. And if it doesn't make any sense whatsoever, I'll certainly once in a while point some things out that are a bit amusing. But when you spit out supposed facts and they're not facts, and so you've landed at the right place here at the Voice of College Football, because I will always hold everyone accountable. So Charles, that's not correct. Do some research. Go through the ACC Coastal Division, and you will find.
I was gonna say Pittsburgh has
many
a bunch,
national
right? They're pretty
championships.
good. They had a
lot
nice
of national
history.
championships. So does Georgia Tech. So you put those two together.
Now maybe if he would have corrected it and said since 1980 or something like that, then okay.
There you go.
Yeah, that
if you want to put a condition on it, but
right,
all
right.
time, yes,
Modern
Tech,
or something like that. I mean, because Pitt was before Penn State took off. I didn't even know that. I'm playing NCAA, and I'm like, so I'm driving down on their field, and then there's these posters where it says national champion. I'm like, Pitt did what? So I'll look it up. Before Jopa took over, that northeast area of football was very great. And before Penn State took off, they were those dudes, man. And I did not know that at all.
Yeah, I only remember barely remember one of those in 1976. I really don't remember that because that was about a year or two before I really dove into college football. But Tony Dorsett, Heisman Trophy winner in 1976. They won the Sugar Bowl over Georgia, won the national championship. That was Pitt's last. And they had some real close shots under Dan Marino right after that.
Right.
80, 81. They were right there. All right. We appreciate everybody being here. We're here every Tuesday with the Wholesome One. So we appreciate you being here, but also you could bring in some more folks with you each and every week. Also, keep in mind that we would love to have a sponsor for this show. So if you have any connections there, hit me up at MarkRogersTV at Gmail. We are looking for sponsors. There's much talk about Bill O'Brien in the chat as well.
I mean, that's where you got to be careful.
Are we talking about as an offensive coordinator or a head coach?
Probably head coach. I want a disciplinarian that still gets our guys to a certain extent. You don't want a disciplinarian for just disciplinarian's sake. And Bill O'Brien's history is kind of a little iffy with the way he treats and talks to players. So I'm not necessarily on board with that. At one point, I did more deep dive research, and I don't think him and the way that he talks to guys mainly out of a base like South Florida, where they have hair like mine and golds and that kind of stuff. I don't necessarily think he would be the best. I mean, the way he treated DeAndre Hopkins, I don't know about that. I don't know about that, man.
Yeah, people sometimes get confused. You can be a disciplinarian and still treat people with respect. You can be a disciplinarian, people. You don't have to yell at them. You don't have to demean them in any such way. Just be a disciplinarian in regards to, okay, these are the rules, these are the guidelines, and this is what needs to be followed. And we're going to work together. We've got a common goal. We're going to work together. You're going to be held accountable to be on time, to work hard, to know the playbook, to go to class, whatever else you want to lay out. And we're going to work together. And hopefully that individual also shows some level of care and love and respect, in addition to just, I'm going to be a football coach, because that's what builds relationships and makes it all truly work. And that's when players are really going to work and play for and fight for a coach, is if they believe the coach has their best interest in mind as well.
Absolutely. And I tell you what, I was a little nervous about Bill O'Brien because his name was coming up for the Tech job. And I was pretty nervous that he was going to take the Virginia Tech job. But they took the Penn State's defensive coordinator. So, I mean, that makes us scared. Yeah. So, I mean, there's a lot of jobs that's opening up, man. And like I said, Miami's job is not open just yet, but in my opinion, it is. A lot of people keep asking what happens if Mario takes the extension at Oregon, because they want to give him a big surplus to stay at Oregon. I'll tell you this. What happened with Lincoln Riley leaving Oklahoma for USC, he's getting all the flack. I think Mario doing it now would not get all the flack because he's the second guy to do it. The first guy usually gets all the flack. Second guy, not so much. And his main thing was the recruiting base and being able to leave for greener pastures. Yes, Oklahoma had the better money. Oklahoma was willing to give him more. Oklahoma had the facilities. Oklahoma's a Jordan brand. They got uniforms. He has a stacked roster. Oklahoma this, Oklahoma that, and he Southern Cal. Because of proximity to talent and the ability to not have to recruit super harder to convince a South Florida or Texas or California guy to go to Norman, Oklahoma to play ball, as opposed to be there and just have to, hey, come up the road or come down the street, go a little bit east, go a little bit west from where you are, come on down to USC. And it's one of those jobs that it would blow up. It blows up, man. Yeah, you're right. 863K. Mario would be the third because guess what? Kelly just did the same thing, leaving Notre Dame, one of the most from in the Catholic Church, and how much money do they have? let's be honest, and he left them to go down to rural LSU, proximity to talent. He doesn't have to argue with a Florida running back from Orlando to go up to Notre Dame. He can come over to LSU. He gets first pickings of everyone out of Louisiana, a huge recruiting play. So you got that. Again, all those bells and whistles, they help in recruiting. But the proximity to them and being able to have them be that close to you is the number one thing. So now, if Mario does decide to leave, he won't have to convince and get in a battle with USC about a Southern California or an Arizona guy going way up to the Northwest to Oregon. Because guess what? He could drive within an 80-mile radius. He got to spend that much on recruiting. He don't need a private jet to fly to see recruits. If you do want to fly, you can. Get on a 45-minute flight to Atlanta. You don't really need to. Guess what? We can all get in a truck and go straight up I-95. It'd be just fine. If you want to fly to Texas, you want to fly to Cali, sure. But you wouldn't have to build the program. And that's all I'm saying. I could be dead wrong, Mark. I could come on here and maybe Mario does take the extension at Oregon. And then Miami can go to the Lane train. Miami can go to the Tom Herman train. There's other places Miami could go. But for me, the H1H, there's only one person with the resume, with the mentality, with the understanding of what it takes for Miami to be great, and the complete buy-in from local places, local schools, local boosters, local alums, and that is Mario Cristobal. It's that simple. I said the same thing in 2018 when I was on here. 19 when we 18 when we went with Manny Diaz. I said go with the elite hire and go get Cristobal. I said it then. I'm gonna say it now. If 3 years from now we're doing the same thing, I'm gonna call you from whatever school I'm working at, and I'm gonna say, Mark, they better get Cristobal. It's to me, it's a pretty simple answer.